Hi guys, my name's Christine and I'm a dating, relationship and personal development coach, and today I'm talking about exes regret the breakup later, okay? So if you're wondering if your ex is regretting the breakup, right, what you've got to realise is that after the breakup has just happened, and maybe for a few weeks and a few months after the breakup, what they're actually feeling is relief, because if they were the one that dumped you, then there was probably a build-up to them to actually do that, right? They've probably been thinking about it for a while, and now that they've finally done it, they've finally bitten the bullet and broken up with you, they're going to feel relief, because breaking up with someone is really difficult. It's really hard, it's really awkward, it's not a nice thing to do to someone, right? Even though it may seem like your ex didn't care, they probably did care. They probably felt some awkwardness at least, and definitely felt relief after doing it, right? Because it's not a nice thing to do. So once they've done it, they feel a lot better. They're like, okay, that's finally over with. I can get on with my life. I've done the hardest thing now. It's over. I can now focus on other things. I don't have to worry about breaking up with them now because I've already done it. It's done. Right, so they feel relief, and they feel that for an extended period of time, okay? So that's what you got to realize. That's what your ex's mindset is, especially if it's only just been a couple of days since they broke up with you. They feel relieved that they've finally done it, right? That they've finally broken up with you, because it wasn't a nice thing to do. So they won't regret the breakup until later on. I mean, it may be the case that they'll never regret the breakup, right? They may never do. It depends how much feeling they still have towards you, I guess, because some people can break up with you and they'll be absolutely totally happy with that choice and they may never regret it, right? But there are a few things that you can do to improve that situation so that they may actually regret the breakup and at least second guess their decision to break up with you. And always what I say to people is, if you want to make an ex regret breaking up with you, then show them that you're flourishing without them. Now, I don't mean like directly show them, right? I don't mean like, oh yeah, sending them photos of these new accomplishments that you've done or you've set for yourself. I don't mean anything like that, where you're like sending them things like, oh yeah, look at what I'm doing with my life now without you. That's not gonna do anything, right? That's just gonna annoy them. And that's going to show them actually that you're insecure. So what you need to do then is you need to show them that you're flourishing without them, right? Indirectly. So it could be that they check up on your social media profiles and see that you're up to a lot of different things. Perhaps you started your own business and that seems to be really going well, things like that. Or you're just getting more success in other endeavors and you're posting about that. That's one way you can do it. Okay, but the important thing about this is that you must genuinely be trying to do this, okay? So it's a good idea to improve your life anyway, but you shouldn't just be doing it just to get back at your ex. You should be doing it, right, because that's what you should be doing anyway. You should always be trying to improve your life in some way so you can enjoy it more, so you can get to that point in life where you actually really enjoy your life and you enjoy your lifestyle, you enjoy the way things are going for you, right? And if you're in a place right now where you're not really doing that, where you don't feel like you're really enjoying life, where you feel like you don't like your life, right? You need to change that, right? So if you're unhappy with where you are, you need to change that. There's a quote that Jim Rohn said, and it was something like, if you don't like your life, you can change it. You're not a tree. You can move. You can do things. You're not stuck in one place. You're a human being. You can come up with creative ideas and creative new scenarios, and you can put yourself in new places, right? You're not a tree. Right? You're not stuck. You can change your life if you want to, right? Sometimes it can feel like you're stuck though, like if you've got a job and let's say you don't particularly like that job, right? And because you don't like that job and you can't find a new one for whatever reason, it can feel like that you're never like you're stuck there forever. It can feel like that. But the reality is that even if it seems like that, you're still not stuck there. Eventually, if you keep on putting your CV out there, and you keep on working on it and you make sure that you're putting a quality CV or resume, I think in the States they call it. If you keep on doing that, eventually someone will want you and you can get out of that other job, right? So this is just obviously an example, but my wife, for example, she was in a job that she didn't like for ages, for years, right? For years. It was like for most of the time we've known each other, she's been in that job. In fact, when I first met her, she had moved She had moved recently to the place where I met her, but she moved for that job, right? She moved for that job, and she only changed jobs like last year, and I met her in 2017, and we've been married for nearly 2 of those years. We're into our 2nd year of marriage. So for a while, you know, she was in that job, and she only switched jobs last year, and now she has a job that she much prefers and she likes a lot better, and she's a lot happier there, and she's not crying nearly every day, right? Because that's what was basically happening, and it was really heartbreaking. So, and she thought that, oh yeah, I'm never gonna find another job, because she'd been putting her CV out there, and no one was biting. And because like she was in that job during the pandemic as well, there was many people wanting new staff and things like that. So it was really tricky. It was really difficult, and it was really difficult on her. And it was horrible to watch her go through that, because essentially I felt powerless. There was nothing I could do about it, right? Apart from maybe help her with her CV and things like that. But that was it, right? There was nothing much else I could do. But eventually she did find a new job. But for a while, and it was a long time, right? It was a good chunk of, it was a few years, right? Of her trying to find this new job. And she felt stuck, right? She felt totally stuck. And she thought things are just never going to change. But luckily they did, right? And sometimes it can feel like that. It can feel like, oh my god, so many years have gone by, I'm still in the same situation, things are never going to change. But if you keep on putting your CV out there when it comes to jobs, then you will eventually find another job. It may take a few years if there's not many people employing right now, but you will get there. Okay, and that can kind of be applied to a lot of different things, right? It can seem like if you're going through like a dry spell when you're meeting new women or something like that, and you're dating or you're meeting new guys, it can seem like that. It can seem like, oh yeah, I've been dating for years and I haven't met someone that I really like. But eventually it does happen. You do meet someone, because eventually because basically dating is just a game of numbers, and this is what I talk about a lot. Dating is a game of numbers, and eventually, if you keep on dating, you will find someone, right? If you just keep on going, you will find someone who thinks that you're the bee's knees, that you really like as well, right? But it takes trial and error. Sometimes you have to meet a few different people, sometimes you need to go on 10 days or 20 days or even 100 dates to find that one person. But you will get there. You will find someone if you keep on doing it. So you can get out of these situations that you don't like. It can happen. You've just got to basically keep on going and not give up. And a lot of people do like to give up, because it's a lot easier to give up than to keep on going. So if you're unhappy with your circumstances, you can change them, and they will change eventually, but it may take a while. It might be instant, right? You might be able to just, because let's say you're really qualified, there's plenty of jobs that you want, that there's plenty of jobs out there that require the skills that you've got. So you might be fine with that sort of thing. But if you're unhappy with your circumstances, you can change them. That's the moral of the story, even if it takes a while, okay? So you got to find a way to create a life that you enjoy, right? A life that you're happy with, right? Because when your ex then looks upon your life, they will see that you are basically flourishing without them, right? And you're doing better without them. And that's going to confuse them, because maybe they were hoping that you were going to crumble, that you weren't going to be happy, that you would never find someone better than them. Because a really good way of getting back at your ex in a way is finding someone who's way better looking than them, way nicer than them to you, and who you enjoy the company of more. Because what you got to remember is that when you're trying to find someone to be with, and this is where a lot of people go wrong, and why there's like loads of breakups and divorces, is because they're so busy focused on the physical attraction that they have for that person, they ignore the red flags, right? Some people pay more attention to what kind of house they want to live in, or what kind of car they want to get, than they do a partner, right? Because, when you're getting a car or when you're getting a house, you want to know different things. Like with a car, you want to know like, oh yeah, what's the mileage? You want to know what kind of engine it's got. You want to know about like the different little things that's attached to it. Like, has it got like a sat nav or something like that? You want to know all these different things, and you want to know how many owners it's had. You want to know if it's ever been in an accident. So you've got all these like criteria, right? And it's the same with like buying a house. You're like, okay, what kind of area is it in, right? What's the neighborhood like? Are the neighbors friendly? Is it near a school, or is it near transport? Is there parking? Things like that. You're asking all these different kinds of questions, and you've got like a set of criteria. But then when it comes to dating, so many people are like, oh yeah, that one's fine, she's attractive, I'd love to bang her. Yeah, she'll do. And then they ignore the red flags, right? They don't pay as much attention because they're too busy thinking with their genitals, essentially, instead of using their head and spending more time with this person and trying to understand who they are as a person. Because, you know, one of the crazy things is that, and I felt this as well, is that we do ignore those red flags, because basically what we're doing is we're saying, oh yeah, that person's amazing, that person's good looking, maybe we can change them if we see some red flags showing up. And that's what I felt as well when I met my ex. You know, within the first month of us dating, she asked me, oh, what would you do if I cheated on you? That was a major red flag, because guess what happened only a few months later, and maybe she did that kind of stuff in between as well. She cheated on me, but she told me, essentially, what was going to happen. But I ignored it, right? Because I was projecting. I was thinking, oh yeah, well, I'm different. She won't ever do that to me. I've told her that I wouldn't be happy if she did that, so she's not going to do it. But it happened anyway, because people are going to be who they are, right? There's nothing I could have done to have changed her at all, right? So you have to accept people for who they are, at face value, unfortunately. So, you know, when you meet someone, you got to be really careful, right? Because what's important to remember is that if you settle down with this person, you could potentially be spending the rest of your life with them. The rest of your life. So you've got to make sure that there's someone not only that you're attracted to, but there's got to be someone who you can be friends with too, who you can enjoy the company of. Because I meet so many couples, right? So many couples that despise each other because they don't have anything in common at all, right? And they essentially live separate lives, right? You know, the guy likes to go and play golf, the lady likes to go out and play bingo, you know, and they don't have any activities that they do together, right? That blows my mind, because me and my wife pretty much do loads of things together, everything together. We love the same things. We love going on long country walks. We love doing that kind of thing. We love going and mooching around the shops and just looking at bizarre things and stuff like that. There are so many things that we do together that we enjoy. We enjoy each other's company. So it's not just enjoying each other's physical body and thinking, oh yeah, they're hot, that's good enough for me. It's about, can you spend time with this person alone for a long period of time, and can you do things together that are enjoyable? Because if you're living two separate lives, then eventually you're going to split up, right? It's just one of those things. Okay, you got to enjoy each other's company. If you don't enjoy each other's company, you're screwed, essentially, right? So that kind of thing can happen as well. So it's really important then, when it comes to making your ex regret breaking up with you and things like that, is that you find someone who you can enjoy a lot more of, right? Who you can really be happy with, right? Because then they're going to see that you're with someone who's perhaps better looking than them, nicer than them, whatever, right? And they're going to think, oh, damn, what did they do? Or like, oh, I can't believe that they actually upgraded. Because what they're expecting you to do is to downgrade. They're expecting you to have a worse life, right? Because that kind of boosts their ego a bit. And they're also expecting you to downgrade when it comes to someone who's your next partner, right? But if you don't do any of those things, if you improve your life, and if eventually you do find someone better, then that's going to make them question their decision to break up with you. That's going to perhaps even make them regret it. Now, of course, not everyone's like that. You may get an ex who's actually genuinely happy for you, right? And of course, you may get an ex that may never regret the breakup because they really felt it was the right decision. But if you do have an ex that maybe is inclined to maybe sway with that decision, then you can definitely make them regret it. But the point is then, right, will it matter anymore by the time you've started to live this more enjoyable life, and by the time you have met someone who is way better than them? Will it even matter what they think, what your ex thinks by that time? And I think it won't, right? And you'll be in a much happier, better place, and you won't even care about what your ex thinks. Okay, so thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to get in touch with me personally and you'd like coaching with me, then please go to www.christineloveridge.com, and I shall talk to you again very soon. Goodbye.